Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special podcast. I am Sybil Wilkes. We call this podcast In Bed with Sybil and Her Girlfriends. As you can see, unless we have some very strange sleeping arrangements, none of us are in our bedrooms right now. But folks are normally accustomed to the girls getting together and having our conversations from our beds, which is it's kind of a comfortable situation. But today is an exception, and so is our guest lineup. It is with great honor and pleasure and humility that we welcome the great one, Queen Afua. And I will give you a little bit more information about her. But first of all, thank you so much for your time. And thank you for all that you have given us and shared with us over the years.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
We are talking about female health. And as I said, we have this opportunity, a great opportunity, to learn from the greatness of Queen Afua, who is known as the mother of womb wellness, which I love. I love alliteration, but I also love the great work that you have done and all of the information you have shared with us over the years. So as we welcome you, Queen Afua, also welcome to Two Girlfriends and proponents of good health. Our friend Erica Taylor is a director, a writer, and she is the creator of a documentary called Red Alert: The Fight Against Fibroids. And we will talk about her journey through this as well as what her work is doing to help others. And also to my good friend and my colleague is Cherie White. She is the creator and the founder of the wellness website Black and Fit. Hey, Cherie.
Hey. Hey, Sybil, how are you?
I'm good. If I can ask you all, we're having some audio issues. So if I can ask you all to speak, you both are very slight of voice, if I may say.
Okay.
So if I can ask you all to speak up as much as possible. I don't know if I need to go to the ear doctor, but I'm just saying we were having this. So I do want to talk first of all, give some folks some background on Queen Afua for the one or two people who may not be as fully aware of Queen Afua. As I said, the mother of womb wellness. She is an international healer, a holistic health practitioner, and wellness coach. And she is also a pioneer in the green foods movement, which is something that all of us aspire to, but not necessarily keeping up with that as we should. And Queen Afua stresses that our overall health and well-being is connected to our womb. And as women, we need to understand that. Is that not right, Queen Afua? Queen Afua, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so want to talk about the connection between our overall well-being and the health of our womb, and talk about
Yes.
how you have devoted your life to this.
Mm-hmm. What I have found. Thank you so much. What I have found is that your womb is not just physical. It is also it's a direct connection to the state of your heart, your emotions, and your relationships. It is a direct connect to the mind, the womb of the mind, how you think, how you process life, what you hold on to mentally. So there is a prayer to connect all those three womb centers so you can function and heal from that unity, that inner unity. We say awaken the womb of our mind. For what we think, we birth, we create. We take a deep breath into the womb of our mind and start to think higher thoughts. We birth a whole new being, a whole new woman.
Yes.
And then we go into our heart center. We say, awaken the womb of our heart. For what we feel, we birth, we create. So let's clear up those feelings and take ourselves to the highest level so that we birth nothing but greatness. And then we take another deep breath in and out. And then we place our palms over our physical womb. And then we say, awaken our seat of creation. For what we think and what we feel, we birth through our seat of creation. And today we birth wellness. Today we birth a new world of body, mind, and spiritual wholeness, for we have awakened. Now, those three centers are now connected.
They're aligned.
They're all now connected. And so you're healing the whole being all at one time. We're not fragmented. So if you are suffering from whether it be infertility or fibroids or monthly womb pain, any of that, we're not only going to heal the physical womb with our herbs and our plant-based living, and our yoga practice. We're going to also heal all what we've been carrying in our hearts for generations, passed down. Our womb story, our womb condition is not just in this life, it's in our mothers, it's in our grandmothers. And so as we heal ourselves, as we're going to start with ourselves and unify our own 3 womb centers, then we begin to bond with our mothers and we begin to heal our story.
Wow.
That's the work I'm bringing.
So now you know why she has inspired millions of women all over the world, men, women, and children across the world. With her books, she is a best-selling author of. Not just a New York Times best-selling author, may I say. And the book that, can we say started it all, Queen Afua, is Sacred Woman, A Guide to Healing the Feminine Body, Mind, and Spirit.
Actually, that book came from another book that not as many people know about. That book came out of my first beginning. Name of that book is Heal Thyself.
Got it.
I had to really transform myself. And I started as a teenager. I had heavy clotting and bleeding and long menstrual days, 7 and 8 days. I was stressed. All of that was happening in my womb as a teenager. And so as I started to heal myself and come into a holistic lifestyle, then years later, was helping so many women till a book came through. Now that book is Sacred Woman, A Guide to Healing the Body, of the feminine body, mind, and spirit. So from that point, that is when I started to speak out about womb wellness, womb transformation, womb yoga dance, which is a form of yoga that I have developed over the years, womb breathing, womb foods, womb juicing, womb herbs. It just went on and it kept growing, but it was growing from all the women that I was helping to support and all the babies that came out of that, of the experience of women having healthier wombs and being more vibrant in their lifestyle. So yes, the beginning of for me, the womb movement inside of me really became so intensified once the book was released. It took 7 years for me to write the book, but once it was released, then many women began to gravitate to the ability and the strength of healing their wombs themselves, their lifestyle shift.
So at 15, what happened as you were going through this? And for me, that would have been 3 or 4 years after starting my menstrual cycle. And I did have a lot of the same things that you have described. What happened at 15 that was that, as Oprah would say, that aha moment that changed things?
I get excited when I just think about it. Just the thought of it. Because that was my transformation. You have to have your own transformation in order to help anyone else. So at that time, I had asthma, chronic, allergies, chronic. If I went near a blade of grass, I was itching, wheezing, all of that. I had chronic headaches. I had a little bit of arthritis. And inside of that, my womb has been traumatized. That's why I was saying the heavy bleeding, the clotting. I was invited to go on a healing retreat. 3 days, my entire life shifted.
Wow.
And when I went on the retreat, I was invited. I didn't know what I was coming into. I was eating a toxic diet. I was eating a lot of meat and fast food and all of that.
You were being a teenager.
I was a hot mess. But that's why I'm so convicted now. If I could heal, anyone could heal. Because the doctors basically gave up on me. They said, well, your daughter should live in a glass house. She's allergic to everything. And they gave me my most potent medication for my asthma. And I would take my Advil, my painkillers every time I have my menstrual flow. It's like my womb is in war. It's in a war state.
Yeah.
Now, those 3 days, I came off the bus. I didn't have my medication. I just was following the spirit. So I got off the bus, the grass, the trees, oh my goodness, scratching, wheezing, itching. And then I heard the inner voice talk to me when I dropped my bags inside the cafeteria where we're going to start our retreat. I was desperate. I was ashamed of my sickness. I didn't ever talk about it. And I heard that voice tell me, I didn't know what it was at that time, but it said, gave my first formulation, eat grapefruits, lemons, and oranges. Now I looked to the left. There was a bowl of grapefruits and oranges and lemons, and there was some rose hips tea. I ran right to it because I had no time to have no back talk spiritually. I went right to it, and that whole day, I was eating the grapefruits, the oranges. I squeezed the lemon, put it in the warm tea with the rose hip. I was being led. I was being guided. And when I did that, I was still going through my shit, my chain, my lungs, everything was happening. And then I went into another room and I heard this healer, Dr. Johnny Moore. He's a master herbalist for over 50 years from up in Harlem on 125th Street.
Come on
And
now.
he was talking about the miracles of the plants. And I said, wow, that's it. And he was talking about women who could not conceive. And then they took herbs, they started cleaning up their diet. And it was the most miraculous conversation I've ever heard. And then that night, everyone lay down to go to sleep, but I couldn't lay down as an asthmatic because I was still wheezing. So I propped up my pillows in front of a fireplace. Now, I didn't know the fireplace was going to be a part of my healing, that heat. Well, I did not know I was even on a fast. And I didn't know that all that mucus was breaking up, which is really my female issues and my respiratory issues, as above, so below. Now, I go to sleep and I wake up. And when I wake up, I go to the bathroom and I blow my nose. All this mucus is draining out for about an hour. And when I came out of that bathroom, it was like an enlightening moment. I said, wait a minute, I can breathe. I didn't have the pump. I didn't have my injection. I was in shock. I said, okay, that was my first awakening to the healing. And then I looked over by the books that was on the table, and I picked up Dick Gregory, Cooking with Mother Nature.
Oh, wow.
That turned my whole reality all the way around. And meanwhile, the asthma was, nope, I wasn't congested. I stopped wheezing, I stopped itching. I didn't know my womb was healing at the same time. I wasn't aware because I didn't have my menstrual flow. And so I went home as they didn't call it vegan then, it was vegetarian. I went home as a newfound vegetarian, plant-based. I learned about beans and peas and lentils and sprouts and seeds and fruits and vegetables that heal the body. I learned about yoga and meditation on that retreat. We did a herbal walk. All that happened. And when I went home, I did not come back with the same unhealthy body. And then I continued to study, self-study and read books and really just get so deep into the work. And after 2 months, I remember opening up Dick Gregory's book. I thought about his 9 children, him and his wife, how they lived. And I started to model myself on the same lifestyle. And then when I had my menstrual flow, the second month in, I didn't have any wound pain. First of all, I was in shock. I said, wait a minute, how did my menstrual flow happen without me throwing up, laying down in the bed, just, in a state of total stress? I didn't have any stress for the first time in my womb life of having my menstrual flow since I was 13. Wow. I was in pain every month from 13, 14, 15, up until 16. Then I said, wow, this is a miracle. I began to tell every woman, wait a minute, you don't have to suffer. I was like a holistic evangelist.
Right.
Telling
and you still are.
There's a new war. In my community, I was a little crazy, but it's okay. Because I had my own healing.
Let me ask you, Erica and Cherie, do any of these symptoms, any of these things, did you experience and now recognize what you may have gone through as a young person? Because certainly I do, as far as the menstrual cycle and things were concerned. Did you have any of these symptoms that Queen Afua has described herself as having?
Yeah, I mean, everything you described, I pretty much had, including the asthma. So I remember, having really heavy cycles from the time that I started when I was 11 years old, and not really knowing, that was heavy, that what I was dealing with was not necessarily normal. And then as I, got older, I did develop really bad allergies. My parents had to take all of the carpet out of the house because my allergies were so bad. I was keeping them up at night. And, as I went through college, I developed asthma. And, as an adult, when I started, learning about fibroid tumors and whatnot, I learned how the diet can truly affect everything about your body and how your body responds to anything, to this earth, and so I'm really, what you're saying is truly resonating with me. I felt this at peace the minute you started talking about the connection between the heart and the womb and the mind and the womb and the heart. So, thank you for that. That really means a lot.
And Cherie, what about you?
I did not have the cramping that Queen Afua described, but I did have a heavy flow that lasted, 7-8 days. And I definitely was a meat eater growing up. My family actually owned a barbecue restaurant. I'm from Texas. I'm from Texas, and so very meat heavy diet growing up. That I would attribute my heavy flow to that.
And Cherie has adopted the vegan lifestyle for as long as I've known her, and that is a change. And Erica, you too have adopted that lifestyle as well. I'm still a struggling and struggling vegan or even vegetarian, Queen Afua. But what's the best way for us to get started in this? Is it like you? Do we go cold turkey? Do we go through a weekend retreat and try to change all of these things in ourselves? Or
Yeah.
what's the best way for us to do it? Or is there one best way?
Well, there's doorways. There's so many doorways to begin. So wherever someone may read the book, Sacred Woman, and there's about 100 pages that you can read and start to try out some of the foods, some of the herbs. Come in gently, because otherwise you're stressed. Like, I got to change my whole life right now.
Right. That's the way I feel now. It's like, I got to do something. I got to change this.
Today may be those who are listening, this may be their first day of hearing this. So start with pull whatever resonates to you and begin to implement it into your lifestyle for wellness. And write down, first of all, what are all your issues? Is it heavy bleeding? Because you have to remember, because you're about to do a quantum leap, because spring is coming. Yes. So you're going to heal so quickly now, because the seasons allow us to blossom with ease. So write down the issues. If it's heavy bleeding, how many days, if you're clotting, if you have PMS pain, if you get a negative attitude, if you start yelling at people or going
that moodiness,
if you feel stressed out, whatever you're going through, just go inside yourself and analyze, and then write it down as a journal. Start your womb wellness journaling. Then you start your journey. Now, some may come in with me and do a 2-day womb care love retreat virtually. That may be one way of doing it. Someone else may read the book. But on a basic everyday level, cut out the starch, because that will keep you congested. Cut it back. Everyone's not going to cut out all of it, but cut back, right? And cut down on your meat intake, right? So if you're having beef, pork, goat, lamb, maybe have chicken and fish in the middle of the day, but then have vegetable proteins like your beans and your peas and your lentils. Avocados is so lovely to your womb.
You eat avocados every day?
I do, because it does two things at one time. You get your protein, you get your joints lubricated, you can be young forever. And then you also get a clean colon, because when I was a colon therapist for 15 years. When your colon is impacted, which means if you have 3 meals a day, and then you have only one bowel movement, after 7 days, that's 21 meals. You're supposed to have 21 eliminations. So say you only have one for the day, you have 14 bowel movements backed up in your colon. The colon is so close to the uterus. So if your colon is impacted, it begins to drop under your navel as opposed to being above it, and it sits down on the uterus, causing the pain and the congestion.
Oh my.
So we've got to clean out our colon. So some clean out their colon through colonics. Others may take enemas. Others may take okra 2 or 3 times a week. Others may just start drinking more warm water, room temperature water, to soften up the colon, which helps the colon to come back to its proper position. And then the uterus blossoms up like a flower. So, and how I look at it, you can use the elements. So I just give you all of that, clean out the colon to use the elements. So write down, everyone: ether, mind, air, breath, fire, blood, womb, water, circulatory system and your relationships, and earth, the colon and your nourishment. Your body is made up of 4 primary elements: air, fire, water, earth. And the queen of all of that is your consciousness. So now I'm going to give you just one thing to do for each of those realms.
Okay.
Everybody, you have your pen and pad.
Now, hang on one
laptop.
second. Let me just for people who are just joining us, I want you to understand the import and the great wealth of information you're receiving from the one and only Queen Afua. She is a holistic health expert. She is the Wonder Woman of the womb, if you will, and giving us great advice, but not only for our reproductive health as women,
Yes.
but also this is an overall wellness and wellness checkup for men, women, and children, correct?
Absolutely. And I
Okay.
love that we're talking about fertility and womb wellness. Fertility, because I'm going to tie it all in. The
Yes.
fertility is not only conceiving a life, a baby, but conceiving yourself.
Wow.
Some of us, we have, if you're infertile, that means there's something you're supposed to do with your life that's so powerful, but it's not, but you haven't lived it yet. But it's already in you. So when you become fertile in your creativity, when you get fertile in your purpose, we all came on this planet for a special purpose. You got go ahead now. You see what I'm saying? You got to tap into your purpose of why you came on this planet. When you start to walk your path and your purpose, you get excited. It's you conceiving a baby of your own purpose.
Yes.
And then you have to carry it and nurse it. And then you're going to birth your purpose and bring it to the world. Everybody goes, oh, isn't that a beautiful baby? Your purpose, whether it be a book or a workshop or a product or a concept.
A documentary,
Right.
website.
You see the churches over here saying amen, right?
Yes, the church is alive and well. The mosque, the
Yes,
cathedral, all we are one.
Absolutely.
So in that birthing, that helps you to birth a baby. It's the same energy. Because when you get excited about your purpose, your womb gets excited.
Yes.
She comes alive. She's open. She's receptive to life. But when you're holding on down and suppressing who you really are, then your womb also reflects that. So now that's just food for thought. Consider and think about it. And then say, wait a minute, I really want to do this, but I'm doing that. I really want to bring this to the world, but I'm not doing that. And so as you start to do your self-reflection, spring is here, so you're about to birth something so wonderful. The season is supporting us. So ether, I'm gonna give you one thing for each element.
Okay.
Ether, I want you to invert. Invert is going to give so much into your womb. The womb of your mind, your heart, you see your creative. What does that look like? Put 3 pillows at the foot of your bed. 1 pillow on top of the second pillow, on top of the third pillow. Lay down at night, and every morning. You lay down, so now your legs are above your head. So now you're bringing, according to ancient African ancestors, that pose is the master pose for bringing your soul back to life, for bringing your womb back to life, your creativity back to life, your heart back to life. So that inversion, 10 minutes at night before going to sleep. Breathe, relax, receive. When you wake up in the morning, before you put your feet on the ground, go put your legs right over those pillows again. 5 or 10 minutes, allow that oxygen, that circulation, that blood, that new heart to come down through the feet, coming into the legs, feeding the womb. Massage yourself, really open up that womb and self-massage with your power hands. Allow it to open up your heart so you'll blossom into your new self, up into your crown. Just 10 minutes. That's a beautiful exercise. You don't have to work for that. You just have to relax. Now, that's for the ether. And then cut down on your sugar. If you take regular sugar, it eats away at the nervous system and it causes more stress. It eats away at the bone, so the body will begin to break down. So only look for fruits. Do that for 21 days. Look for fruits for your sweetener, or a little bit of agave. You have to have that, and try to get sweets that have seeds in them, because that is a live organic fruit. Because right now they're taking seeds out of our lemons, out of our grapefruits, out of our oranges, out of our watermelon.
Watermelons.
What's
What is that?
So now that's ether. That's the consciousness. As you're putting positive affirmations in your mind every time you're eating and thinking and relaxing, it's constant positive affirmations. I love myself. My mind is charged up. I am birthing who I really am. All of that. That's your inner dialogue. Now let's go into the heart, the lung center. That's your breath. You have to get the breath of life. When you get the breath of life, you have to cut out the dairy. Dairy is deadly. Once you came off of your mother's breast milk, That was really it for that level of calcium. Now you go to vegetable juices will give you the calcium. Turnips give you the calcium. Your seeds and your nuts, you can make that into a nut milk, gives you a calcium. Greens give you calcium. That is a high level of calcium. So now we're not going to take the milk, the cheese, unless it's almond milk. We'll take the milk and the cheese and the ice cream, but you can make your own natural ice cream. So these are things that you'll learn in my 21-day detox. Okay, so now you take lime water every day. That will expel the congestion as above, around the breasts, around the heart, and around the womb. So mucus is what you're breaking up. Take 2 limes and 8 ounces of warm water every morning. And do it again in the nighttime. And mucus will start coming out of your nose. When I talked about the asthma leaving out of your mouth, and vaginally it will start to drain out of the vagina. Okay. So now we have the opening of the lungs. Now we go to fire. The blood has to be built up. And then talk to your mother. Find out what was her womb story, because her womb story is your womb story. It's all in the heart. She may not even want to talk about it. She may not be ready. She may not understand, what are you talking about? Or she may be ashamed of it. It's okay, because it's going to uncover, because as you start healing phenomenally as the daughter, your mother's going to say, girl, what are you doing? Whatever you're doing, you're looking better, you're feeling better, you're acting better, you're talking nicer. So she's going to walk in your footprints, and then she's going to start to open up. But it starts with you as the daughter, right?
Okay,
so,
but let me just ask you this, Queen Afua, and I don't want to interrupt your flow, but for those of us that no longer have our mothers, what do you suggest that we do?
If you don't have, say it again.
If our mothers are no longer with us, our mothers are no longer alive.
Your mother's always with you.
Well, that's true.
So
that's
as
true.
African beings, we're in America, we were stolen, but we're still African beings. And it's our culture to have ancestors. Your grandmother, your mother, they are still talking through you if you would allow them to have a conversation.
That's true.
They are no longer in the physical body, but they're in the spiritual body. And they're inside of you, in your heart, in your life. All you have to do is call out their name. Early in the morning, the best time to hear the ancestors, your mother talk to you and give you counsel and guidance, and call your mother's name. Mom, please, I need help. I don't know what to do. I'm going through a lot of grief. I'm sad. I'm hurt. She's just going to come through you. Don't give up. Keep getting up early for a few moments. Do your breathing. Have a cup of tea, maybe you light a candle. Some spiritual things you will do to connect. And then one day your mother will say, daughter, I told you don't do that. This is what you need to do. Like, what? Mom, was that you? Yes, it was me. I was me all the time. That's why I sent that person to help you.
That's right.
You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I know that for sure. It had 3 young women when the book was about to come out, Sacred Woman. And each one said, my mother, before she left. Now, that took some time, but it was in different seasons. They said before my mother left, she told me to read this book, Sacred, Heal Thyself, at the time.
Wow.
And so a lot of that happened. So the mothers are talking sometimes through another woman.
Right.
It might be through your best girlfriend. She might say something that your mother said, like, wow, how'd you know that? So my mother used to say, because your mother is actually helping you in the spiritual realm, because we're spiritual beings, but not just physical. So know that your mother's always, even if you had a hysterectomy, your womb is still there. It's energetically still there. So you are still creating and bringing life to the world. So we're not out of the loop, not spiritually. Once you say yes to your life, it will show up. So in building up the blood and connecting you to you can stop me at any point.
Well, let me just stop. Let me just stop right here, because I do want to just remind people that you're watching a very special edition of In Bed with Sybil and her girlfriends. Our newest girlfriend, if I can call you that, Queen Afua, is joining us, and Erica Taylor and Cherie White, and talking about our lives, our bodies, our sacred temples, if you will. And it is something that not only is indicative of and important to the lives of women, but all human beings. And I know you shared this with your son too, and we've had Supernova on with us and had a great opportunity to talk to him. So it is something that this is applicable to all of us, and you're giving us such information. And I do want to continue because you're talking about the womb story and things like that, and how we connect with souls that are no longer with us, but they're always with us. They're not here physically, but they are in a spiritual sense.
Right.
Yes. Well, I think, I'm going to go by the spirit because somehow the volume is not high, but I'm going to feel you.
Oh, okay. Am I not talking loud enough for it? Because I
Yeah.
have the voice to do it.
Mm.
Well, inside of healing all the parts of yourself. So I got to the ether,
Mm-hmm.
the air, the expansion, the fire, which is being motivated to be inspired to bring life into your life. And then I have two more. One is the water, is circulation. So if you want to be more fertile, you have to be flexible. You have to move, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to move in your body. What is the movement that you love? Is it dance? Is it power walking? Is it cycling? Is it yoga practice? If it, whatever it is, find your movement and begin to move. Get unstuck, get unblocked, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then drink water. Most people are dehydrated. When you're infertile, usually you're dehydrated. And not just physical dehydration. Sometimes we have relationships that don't feed us.
Mm.
Sometimes we're in a 9-to-5 job and we go to work and we get that money, but we're not happy there. So
Right.
we need to now begin to circulate who we really are. That's why the birthing of your purpose is essential. But then drink your water so you're not drying out.
Mm-hmm.
Drink your 6 ounces of water in the morning, in the midday, in the afternoon, and when the sun goes down. And then soak the body in the water. Take 2 or 3 healing baths every week. And what happens by taking the healing baths, you begin to relax, let go of the trauma, let go of the stress, let go of the fear. That water does so much work. Some will say you may go to the ocean for the season and just let it all go and cry out, I'm ready to receive my healing. And then you can take your mini ocean healing baths in your own home. Put your Dead Sea salt in the water. You might even, for circulation, you might juice a bark of ginger the size of your hand and put that into the water.
Ginger is very important in so much of our body, isn't it? Ginger.
75% of our body is water.
Mm-hmm.
So we need water inside and outside to begin to release the trauma, the physical trauma, the emotional trauma, the spiritual trauma. So water is the great equalizer.
And you mentioned ginger. What is it about ginger?
Ginger, and now, with the virus, everybody knows about ginger. Now they're learning.
Yes.
Everybody's now pulling nature.
Yeah.
This is our culture. We're just pulling
Yeah.
out our culture now, like our great mother.
Mm.
And so ginger is excellent for circulation. So if you have numbing, wonderful if you suffer from infertility. So that will bring more oxygen and nutrition, or more oxygen actually, and it will get the blood flowing. So you have a healthy blood flow.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's numbing in your fingertips, around your left side of your face, or on your feet, that means that there's not enough circulation. So the ginger bath, or taking a few tablespoons of fresh ginger that you put through the juicer, put that in your juice in the morning, your fresh orange juice or tangerine juice or apple pear juice. And unless you have high blood pressure. If you have high blood pressure, let's get the pressure down. We'll take about 21, 42 days to get that pressure normal by taking on a plant-based lifestyle. Then you can incorporate the ginger. Don't do that before. And then for those who want a ginger bath with your Dead Sea salt or Epsom salt, then juice 1 or 2 cups of fresh pressed ginger root and put that into your bath water. If you can't get the ginger root, then you take a tablespoon of ginger powder, organic, and put that into your water, and get that loofah brush and just begin to massage your arms and your breasts and your womb and your thighs, and that blood will start to flow, and you're going to start to have more energy and vitality. So ginger does so many different things to get your blood stimulated and get the womb awakened for fertility.
Okay, so you're talking about water and moving and drinking the water and all of this to flesh out our bodies. And so I'm wondering from Erica and Cherie, does this make sense to you too?
Cherie, did you want to go first?
Cherie?
Sure. Yes, it does. Like Queen Afua said, the water is just so important. I know when I wake up in the morning, I try to drink even before I put my feet on the floor, try to hydrate, especially in the winter months when it's so dry. And I try to teach my children also, keep drinking your water no matter what. It's really important to stay hydrated.
Yeah, I have the same sentiment. I mean, I used to have a really hard time drinking water. But, once I started, I realized the impact that it had on my everyday, how my body was responding to food, to other liquids. Definitely when I still had alcohol in my life, definitely needed to hydrate after that, because you can tell, I know we talked about the digestive system earlier, but your digestive system will tell you what's wrong. It'll tell you if you're dehydrated, or if you've eaten the wrong foods, or too much of the wrong food, or too much of the right food even. Your digestive system will definitely let you know that, and water will help to kind of cleanse that out. I kind of think of water in the terms of, it goes in through your mouth, but you can just kind of close your eyes and think of it going through your entire system. Kind of like you see water going down a water slide at the amusement park. It's doing the same thing with your body. So it's going out, and it's kind of going to each branch of your body, each little moment and each little part of your body, and out to your skin. And if you don't drink water for a week, you can imagine what that would do to your skin and to your digestive system.
Yeah.
So I think of it in terms of elimination as well, if it wasn't there, and what it could be doing to my body.
Queen Afua, Erica is on a deadline, and she is in the process of birthing a number of projects. And so before we lose her, Erica, is there something you wanted to address with Queen Afua, or a question perhaps to ask?
Yes, first of all, blessings. Thank you so much for so much enlightenment. I really appreciated everything that you said. I second all of everything you said, because I've had these kind of discussions with physicians, scientists, and women who are looking for answers, who are suffering from fibroid tumors. And, so I truly appreciate that information. One of the things that I talk to women about when they reach out to me on social media, they look for a consult on fibroid awareness. And I talked to them about what soy does to the body. I personally have gotten to the point where my body will respond to soy because I eliminated it out because of the imbalance that I had with progesterone and estrogen. So I know that soy is a big proponent of estrogen. And so I worked to try to find that healthy balance, because I was suffering from fibroids for a very long time. Fibroids, endometriosis, cysts, and polyps. And I've had all of that surgically removed twice. And so, upon learning about what soy does to the body, I started to try to use food to balance my nutrients and to balance my hormones, instead of reaching for a pill, a birth control pill, or, some other type of man-made method. I look towards food and plants and what I'm consuming to try to find that balance. So I would love to know your take on what soy does to the body, and how it affects us women with reproductive health issues, particularly Black women as well.
Well, soy is mucus forming. That's what a tumor. And a tumor, what I found is a fibroid tumor is actually crystallized mucus. And whether it's a cyst that develops into a tumor, or it's a tumor that just comes, it's made up of the substance of the soy. It's made up of white flour products too. It's made up of dairy. It's made up of all animal content. So inside of that fibroid, that's really what it really is. So the soy, it feeds it. It won't give you, a soy won't give you cancer primarily, but it will grow a tumor.
Yes.
Right. So someone say, well, back in the day, in my time, my early time, soy was a big thing. People was having soy burgers and soy sausages and soy franks and just soy. And that was, people were transitioning out of having a high meat intake. So then as over the years, people started to realize, wait a minute, I may not be getting cancer, but I'm growing this fibroid. And right now, Black women, we are up to like 95% fibroid tumors that we are carrying in our bodies. So soy is contributing to it, because that became like the crutch. I'm not going to have my sausages in the morning. I'm not going to have my franks at lunchtime. I'm not going to have my burgers at night, but I'm going to have a soy burger for dinner. I'm going to have a soy frank. I'm going to have soy sausages. Now you have all of that, then I'm going to have soy milk. All that congestion and mucus is what's crystallized in the uterus. So I would say take the soy all the way out of the diet, and then work on higher frequency. What I created was a frequency chart. And I say when you create a pyramid in your head, before you get into the pyramid, because the pyramid represents resurrection and restoration. Under the pyramid, in terms of your protein, the lowest of the low would be your beef, your pork, your goat, your lamb. That's the low. Now that's going to cause not just a tumor and a cyst, but it's also going to cause, it can cause cancer. Then you come into the pyramid at the very beginning of the pyramid. Then you have the soy. Now to get into the resurrection, you got to drop the soy now out to come into the resurrection. Then you start to say, okay, what are my protein choices? Then on a higher level plant-based, it would be your black beans, your pinto beans, your garbanzo beans, your black-eyed peas, your lima beans. That was still at the base of the opening of the pyramid. Then you go up to another higher level. Then you start having your avocados. Then you're having your nuts and your seeds, but not cashews and peas. They're very mucus forming. Then you start coming up to the highest level. Then you start taking your sprouts. So you start taking your plant-based supplements, your spirulina and those type of calciums and protein. And the higher up you go, the healthier your womb life is going to be.
How's that sound to you, Erica?
It sounds wonderful. I mean, you're confirming what I've known. So it feels good to hear someone on your level confirm that information for me. I've gotten to the point where, I'll say, if I feel like I wanted to do a little test, I actually have done this myself. But I'll eat something with soy in it because I haven't had it in so long, and I'll see how it affects my body within 24 to 36 hours.
Yes.
I will start bleeding. I will start bleeding.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
And so
yes.
I've gotten to the point where I can see how the foods that I've eliminated from my diet affect my body immediately.
Absolutely.
I'm a foodie, before we
so
let
I know
Erica,
just what you're saying. Absolutely.
Before we let Erica go, I want you to tell us about your documentary and also the work that
you're
you
doing
are
a documentary.
doing.
I am. I'm doing a documentary. We've been working on it for about 3 years now, called Red Alert: The Fight Against Fibroids. And it really brings light to the vast number of women who are suffering from fibroid tumors. I've flown all around the country talking to women with some of the actual typical but worse cases of fibroid tumors. And I say both of those because there's so many women suffering from fibroid tumors, 171 million women worldwide, but that number continues to grow because a lot of us are suffering in silence. So the documentary really brings light to those stories and puts the faces of fibroids out there, including my own. It's a story that, has followed me to the ER and to the OR. And so we've been blessed enough, even during the COVID period, to have our cameras inside of operating rooms and inside of treatment rooms where we'll be able to see those procedures firsthand, so women can really understand what it means to have those fibroid treatments instead of just, taking what the doctor says or offers once they're diagnosed. Now they'll really get the opportunity through the documentary to see it for themselves. We talked to research scientists who've been blessed with grants for fibroid research to the National Institute of Health. We are working with legislators for the Stephanie Tubbs Jones Uterine Fibroids Research and Education Act of 2021 to try to push that through so we can get some monies in for fibroid research and education. But the film surrounds my story. It surrounds the stories of other women. There's some really powerful moments in there. We just came back from Montgomery, Alabama for a Day of Reckoning conference. And I'm just really excited to see, people's reactions to the footage that we've captured, which I feel like it's just once in a lifetime, footage. So I'm excited about it.
Wow.
I would like to continue this conversation, Erica,
Amazing.
but you are on a deadline.
I am.
And so, but I did.
You're the lifeline.
Amen. Amen.
Congratulations for us.
Thank you so much. I
your work.
appreciate
Thank you.
And thank you. And if anyone is interested in learning more about Red Alert, they can go to redalertmovie.com. That is our website, redalertmovie.com. And they can also find us on social media on Instagram. Just look up at Red Alert Movie, and you'll have all the information you need, including how to donate, and including you can watch our trailer. We put out our first official trailer in January. So
fantastic.
Erica, go to work, and we will continue this conversation. But and the next time we'll hopefully have a little bit more time so you can stay for the entire conversation.
Absolutely. X's, O's, love and blessings to everyone. Thank you so much, you all. I appreciate you all.
Thank you. Keep
so
up the
much
great
for your
work. Queen Afua, we are running out of time, but I do want Cherie to get in here too, because she is really a living, walking example of your work. She is one who takes care of not only of herself, but her 4 children under the age of what, 21?
Amazing.
Cherie,
Yes.
and as a single mom has raised them as vegans. She's got the little vegans running all over the place. But also she is one who understands the benefits of the mind and the body. And she has a wonderful website called Black and Fit, in which she talks about some of the same things that you are sharing with us today. And so, Cherie, is there anything that you want to address that we have not as we wrap this up?
I do have a question, actually two quick questions,
Sure.
hopefully. So the first question is, you've told us what we need to do as far as eating goes, and what we should and shouldn't be eating as far as it goes for reproductive health. But what other things should we be doing as far as care and maintenance? A lot of us have grown up douching, even more. Recently, a lot of people are waxing down there. What is safe for us to do as far as keeping our reproductive health up to par?
As far as your lifestyle,
Right. But as far as physical, like I suggested, a lot of us are douching. Should we be douching? Should we be waxing? Are those things that we should be doing?
And as already been mentioned, I think before, vaginal steaming. So there's douching and
Absolutely.
should we be waxing, and those things is what she's asking.
Well, it's another way of edifying and beautifying. That's really what it is. But anytime that if you're waxing, it's going to cause pain. Our wombs have gone through a lot of pain already. And so you don't want to do anything that's going to have your body go to a shock, that's going to have you contract, going to have you hurting.
Right.
So that's something that is happening to women. Now, if you go to get a yoni steam, that's friendly, that's warm, that's loving, that's cleansing. So anything, you can always tell when you have a relationship if it's healthy. The healthy relationships make you more enlightened, make you clearer, make you reflect, help you to expand, make you feel good about yourself, lift you up in charge. So anything that you do in your life that's going to make you feel stressed, anxious, enraged is not healthy. That's a one way to be actually able to say, okay, this is not a healthy act here. Now you may then anoint yourself with oils. You may brush your hair. You may soak your vaginal area in a lovely healing bath or a sitz bath. Those are things. You affirm your womb beauty and your womb wellness. And that is how you can go about it. Will that help to support you? Will that help to uplift you? And that's how you can discern what is healthy and what is not for you.
Can I just jump in terms of explaining to people what the yoni steam is?
Yes. A yoni steam, it's an Asian form of sweating, right? I work on the whole body sweat because I look at it as three womb centers. The yoni is focused on the womb. The beauty of the yoni, because it is for those who don't know, it's really it could be a square shaped box or a round box. It's usually made of wood, and inside of that is a steamer, and they're womb healing herbs. And you have a cape on that encloses the whole body from the neck down. It covers the box that the heat is coming in and the herbs are coming in vaginally, and you're sitting there. Now what happens is 15, 20 minutes or so, the steam is coming. That means the uterus is releasing congestion. The uterus is relaxing, and heat helps to heal. So you have the heat, you're sweating, you have the herbs. So your womb is going through a discharge and a cleansing. And so for the women who are suffering from stress, vaginal stress, discharge, heavy vaginal bleeding, that will be helpful. But while you're doing that, you have to, of course, eat foods that support your womb wellness. Drink the tonics and the juices and the herbs that support. So if you're getting a yoni steam, you want to take some of your herbal tea. You want to take, if you have heavy bleeding, you want to take shepherd's purse. It would be wonderful to take that while you're in sweat. or put that into the herbs. You want to take the goldenrod if you have a fibroid tumor that you could be drinking. So as above, so below, you're sweating and you're releasing. And so that's like taking a colonic and cleaning out the old waste from the colon. You're having someone administer, and the steam is another way of localizing and focusing on your wound wellness. That's hydrotherapy, heat treatment.
Queen Afua, I want you to hear a little bit from Cherie, because I'm so impressed with her website and the things that she does, and especially in connection with our newsletter, What You Need to Know. And Cherie is really a proponent of all the things that you're saying. And Cherie, can you explain to people who are perhaps hearing for the first time, and maybe it is Queen Afua as well, about Black and Fit and what you do?
Okay, so Black and Fit is a health and wellness platform. At first it's a website, but we're also on social media. But our main goal is to raise awareness about the importance of health and wellness, especially for African Americans, particularly for African Americans. We focus on 5 different areas. We do yoga. We have workouts. We focus on mental health, nutrition, and healthy living or green living. And so we believe that those 5 components compose the total wellness of a person. So we speak to particular issues that affect the Black community. For example, we might have, heart healthy foods that you can eat to get better. We might have some recipes that deal with diabetes, sugar alternatives. In addition to, like I said, we also focus on yoga, the physical workouts. It's just a total platform for health and wellness.
That is so fantastic. And I feel your fitness.
You should see her.
You've been working on yourself for a long time, and
Yes,
it's showing
ma'am.
up. So
Yes,
congratulations on your work.
Thank you.
I look at this generation is secured by the way you are. It did catch to the next generation. And this is generational healing. So you continue, and it's going to go to your children's children's children. Right. And, our culture says we got to heal 7 generations back. That's why our ancestors are involved with this, because they prayed for us to be here where we are. And then 7 generations going forward. So may your work continue to blossom, and we get more and more of your healing path. Thank you.
That's inspirational. Very inspiring.
You really are, Queen Afua. And as we wrap this up, first of all, I want to give you the opportunity for people who don't know, and I don't know in a person on the planet that is not aware, but how can people reach out to you? How can we follow you?
QueenAfua.com.
Okay.
And I have a school, and the school embraces Sacred Women of Rites of Passage that we're about to start. I'm actually starting next week. Okay, come back. It starts next week for the spring and the summer. A wonderful time to begin your blossom. Women's History Month. This is so fantastic. So, join us with Sacred Women for those who want to go through the 12 gateways and heal relationships and work with food as medicine and do the womb healing and also get unstuck, do the yoga practice, go to your inner child and bring her up to speed and begin to nurture and heal her. Beautify yourself as a woman, begin to have healthy male-female relationships like you and your husband. And these are just ways in which we can just feel that the rites of passage is a missing link for our healing. We were stolen, so we didn't get that. It's a kind of hit and miss. And so we're struggling through. So by having an organized way, and the women will embrace you in this circle. They're from all spiritual houses, all generations, intergenerational. So it's going to be very impactful for our young daughters, our middle women, and then our elder women. We all heal together. And then I have Womb Care Love. For those, I just want to get my toe in the ground. I just want to get my toe in. Come to our 2-day Womb Care Love retreat, and I'll work with you, and we'll get a chance to talk and share out loud. Like oftentimes we're keeping it all in. Right. We have no one to speak to. And I've had many calls where women, I know where they are. They'll call me and say, Queen, I don't know what to do. They just came from their doctor. They're confused. And they just know they need to change. And so if you're ready to take some level of change, come to our 2-day healing retreat. And those who say, well, I'm not really trying to do my womb healing, but I want my whole life to heal. You might want to come and do our spring cleaning. Spring is coming. and join us on our 21-day detox. So those are all the different ways in which you can see what resonates to you and just join us.
I think it's just the womb is as the center, and everything comes from there, and the clarity and the healthy living and all of that springs from the womb, and I think if you start there and just listening to you, I
Isn't
think a
that
lot of people,
wonderful?
it just really is.
That simplifies everything. If you say, well, I don't know what to do. It's in my skin, it's in my mind, it's in my emotion. Start with the womb.
Yep.
You know, do everything to nurture her and call her, not down there. She's not ashamed.
Yes,
She's not in
exactly.
a closet. And just nurture her every day by even just affirming, I love you. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to bathe you. I'm going to pray for you. So that, because of all the womb issues are not just, as I said, they're not just physical, but they're also mental. It's also emotional. It's also about relationships and forgive your past.
Yeah.
Learn from the relationships of your past. Don't curse them, because if you curse someone, it comes back to you. So just say, what was the lesson I was supposed to learn from that relationship? And then you'll get that aha moment. And then you say, okay, I don't have to do that again. I'm going to do something higher. I'm going to heal myself.
Yeah. Queen Afua, you are just, you're an incredible human being, and the way that you have shared so much with us in a short period of time, and put a lot of us on the track towards the full body wellness, and I think you are just such an inspiration for so many of us, and I can't thank you enough for your time. And I hope that you will come back and we will be able to continue our conversations again.
I would love to.
Thank you so much.
So much. It's been an extraordinary experience being here with you. Thank you.
It's truly been an honor. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Queen Afua. You can find all of her information there at queenafua.com, as well as follow her on social media at Queen Afua, Instagram, and that sort of thing. And you're just great. I just can't espouse your virtues enough. And so I thank you so much for your time and for your brilliance.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. An amazing spirit. Cherie, would you like to close out and how people can find you with Black and Fit?
Go to blkandfit.com on social media and on the website.
Absolutely. And great information there as well. Thank you, women. I feel empowered having been in the presence of these great women. Thank you so much, Queen Afua. Please come back and join us again.
Absolutely.
And give our best to your son, to Supernova. He was great when we had him on as well. Thank you so much.